Hi, this is Abby from Witchcraft and Criminal History. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well, and this is going to be my final video for Jack the Ripper. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I do apologize for it being so long, but there's just so much information. Okay, this is to do with the psychology part of Jack the Ripper. And I'm going to go into the terminologies and that. So if you don't know really much about your definitions, I've got a video about that in my video list. Okay, let's start. What is Jack the Ripper? Is he organised or is he unorganised? He is an unorganised serial killer. The only thing he planned on doing was bringing a big knife. That was the only type of planning he had. He was unorganised. So he was an unorganised serial killer. Were these murders done for sexual gratification, even though there was no rape to the victims? Yes. These were certainly sexually motivated crimes. Jack the Ripper is what is commonly called a picarist. A picarist is someone who gets sexual gratification for penetrating another person with a foreign object, whether that be a knife, even with a hammer or something like that, but they're using something else. And in Jack the Ripper's case, it was a knife. It was a big butcher's knife. And the knife pretty much represented his genitalia. So that explains why he was doing these brutal things, because that was part of his fantasy. Every single serial killer has a fantasy, and they want to fulfill it. Okay. That's to do with that. And with Jack the Ripper, he was also left-handed. There's supposedly actually a lot of Rippers, or the ones that got termed Ripper, were left-handed. Weird. Seems more common for people being right-handed than left-handed. But Jack the Ripper was left-handed. But then again, so was the Blackout Ripper. He was also left-handed. And also, the majority of the presidents of the United States are also left-handed. Take that as you will. So with Jack the Ripper, like I said, he was left-handed. He was unorganised. There was nothing planned. He was a picarist. And like I said, these crimes were sexually motivated. There's been also aspects that he could have had a sexually transmitted disease, and he was beginning to lose it. That's another theory. The truth is, no one, really knows. But what's really weird with the Jack the Ripper murders is that there is murders, like all the murders are in one part of Whitechapel, and then you got the double event, which is in another area. Because to say the least, with serial killers, they got their comfort zone. They have a comfort zone, so this guy whoever Jack the Ripper was comfortable in Whitechapel. He was very, very comfortable, and he knew the area. And to say the least, if you ask me, Is Jack the Ripper very, very intelligent, or was he very, very lucky? He was very, very lucky. But Jack the Ripper also did a lot of good as well, because it brought the world's attention to the poverty of Whitechapel and places like that. So if it wasn't for Jack the Ripper, things wouldn't have improved. Or it would take a lot longer to improve. So there was some good that came out of these murders. And, you know, if you're thinking, oh, but, you know, what about the connection, you know, with the US or Australia? Could he have done that? Yes. And here's the reason why. A lot of serial killers, they like to travel. They love to travel. Because it confuses the authorities. A lot of serial killers do it. It's very, very common. Like, if you want some modern crimes, ones that like to move, you got Israel Keys. He was very, very good at moving around. He lived in Alaska, and he was actually caught in Alaska when he killed a little bit too close to home. If he just ignored the lady, just got his cough and kept going, he could have been still out there killing God knows who. Because he would rob banks, and then he would go and say, let's go to Washington and go and kill people. Because he did crimes in Washington. He did crimes all over the United States. Paid with cash. So, it's not unusual for them to move around. Like Israel Keys. Ted Bundy is another one what moved around. He also moved around. And also, you also got Unterberger or something like that. The Austrian journalist who strangled women. He also moved. So, them moving around isn't unusual. You might ask, with the crimes, wouldn't Jack the Ripper be covered in blood? Once again, no. And you might be thinking, these women getting their throats cut and you're saying there's no blood? Do you know the anatomy? Going, yes, I know my anatomy. There's some suggestions, because there was a lot of bruising around the neck, that there's a lot of suggestions that Jack the Ripper strangled his victims, then slit their throat. And because they were already dead, there was no blood pressure, and if there's no blood pressure, there's no squirting. So blood would just, trickle out. He either did it that way, or he approached from behind. He approached from behind and go, and because he was behind them, no blood got onto him. So there are ways to doing it. And when he eviscerated them, there would be very little blood. Very, very little. So, he could be wearing a nice good suit and it will still look pristine after he killed someone. And also back in the 1888 and 1800s, a lot of forensic science of what we know today either was in their infancy or not existing at all. You had no DNA. No DNA. And I think you had to wait to the late 1890s when you had fingerprints. When you could identify criminals by fingerprints. So you didn't really have that. So you couldn't use DNA. You couldn't use fingerprints. You certainly couldn't blood match people. You couldn't get fibres, so you couldn't identify fibres, whether that's matching to the victim or is it the killers. You couldn't do that. So there was very, very little they could do with forensics. Pretty much back in 1888, the only way you'll 100% know you caught someone is literally if you caught them in the act. That's how you got caught. And if you didn't get caught in the act, then you can walk off scot-free. Never be caught. Never see a day in jail, let alone the noose, or if you're in the US, the old Sparky. And tell you the truth, when I learned about that guy who's a suspect for Jack the Ripper, who got executed in Sing Sing, I was actually very surprised that you had old Sparky there. Like, I was thinking, oh, he got executed. I'm going, okay, he probably got hung. Or shot. Because being shot or hung was very common in the US. You know, back in the old days, it was very, very common. But no, he got old Sparky. So, I don't know everything about prisons. Well, not to do with executions anyway. But, you know, once again. So, do I think they ever caught Jack the Ripper? They may have. The truth is, like what I said in the first video, we will never ever know. Jack the Ripper is, lost to history. And there will always be a mystery to, probably to the end of the day. No one will ever know. None. Because, like I said, there was no forensic science. Unless they caught him, you wouldn't have known. And there was a morbid fascination that, a little bit of tidbit information, especially with, I think it was Polly Nichols. With some of the murders like Polly Nichols, they actually, people in houses would actually pay, say, for example, if you pay a couple shillings, you can go look at this window and you get to see the crime scene. Pretty much like public executions, but you're seeing where somebody's been murdered and the poor police trying to put things together. So you had a lot of problems with that as well. So that's a little bit of information about this case. Alright, I'm wrapping it up now. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's been so long, but there's a lot of information. Who do you think is Jack the Ripper? Who do you think it is? Is it someone I mentioned here, or is it someone completely different, which I didn't mention? Please leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and blessed be.